Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is the first episode of my vlog, my YAGP journey. So, a little bit of backstory. I'm about to be 19 in less than a month. Actually, less than 3 weeks. I'm going to be 19, and I'm just now trying to get into YAGP. Yep, you heard that right. I am just trying now. The reason this is my first year trying to start YGP is because, well, I started late. I started at the ripe age of 16 with bad knees and having just come off of martial arts a couple of years earlier. My biological father always stopped me from doing it whenever I wanted to when I was really young because it was too gay, and he encouraged martial arts in me, which is something that he considered boys would traditionally do. And that's the route that I took for so long. And a lot of people would be like, oh, well, you were doing martial arts, shouldn't you be a little bit more in shape for ballet? Not at all. That turnout, I'm telling you, that turnout is no joke. And because I did so much martial arts, it actually messed my body up a lot more than I like to even admit, honestly. And it's just been a pretty hard journey recovering from there. But that's why I'm doing this now. It's a process. And now I'm finally here for the process, and I really like it. So a little bit more back into that backstory thing that I was just talking about. I started at 16, as you all know, and that spring, I began taking workshops, and I took those workshops with my mother and my older sister, and I took them in socks. I mean, I'm telling you, it's nothing like that first experience where you don't really know anything about ballet at all and you're just starting the beginner experience. It's something in and of itself. And long story short, I ended up falling in love with ballet again. I really, I liked it when I was younger, and I always saw the contemporary dancers and wanted to be able to do it, but I never thought that it was something for me until I did it. That first class, I was like, oh my gosh. It was hard too, and I was not very good at it. I wasn't good at it at all, and it just started from there. They were beginner workshops, and I wasn't very good at them at all. My turnout was bad, ankles, knees were hurting, things like that. And it didn't really affect the fact that I still wanted to do it. So, ballet was what I did from here on out. After I got into the workshops, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I want to do. So after the workshops finally ended, we came in at the third workshop, I think, or the fifth, and we only did 7 in total that early part of the year. And that was enough to make me go on YouTube and find out, like, there are other people that do this. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of videos. So I found Duchess National Ballet on YouTube from a young lady. I'll have to put her name in the caption or the description or something. This lady who was doing them at her house on Instagram, and I was like, wait, you can take ballet in the comfort of your own home? So I started looking it up, and I found Dutch National Ballet classes on YouTube, and I just got started from there. Now, when the workshops came around later into the fall, I took 3 total, and I told my mom, I was like, I'm too advanced for it, it's not even warming my body up. Like, when you take a very beginner ballet class, that after you've gotten to a certain level, it doesn't even warm your muscles up as much as it would have in the past, because you're so much stronger now. You need a little bit more load, a little bit, more in muscular integrity when it comes to that. And that's another thing that I think the problem was. I also didn't really understand, how to flex my toes as hard as I needed to and things like that. I mean, even you can actually see me doing the tendus right now. They are not very, very good tendus, and so pretty sure people will be like, why are you trying to go to YGP? You need to get the basics down. I do need to get the basics down. Which is kind of why I'm using the YGP as motivation more than anything. And I already know that, even if I don't make it, that I'm still going to come out of this whole experience much better than I entered before. And that's the thing for me that I really care about, is the progress over the accolades. I don't care so much about the accolades as much as I do about the progress. The progress is my accolades. And recently, before I started the ballet, I was playing basketball a whole lot with my brother. Actually, I was playing basketball a lot with my brother and in the neighborhood, and we went to this one kind of basketball little training camp thing or whatever. And my right knee specifically, was just like killing me. I was in so much pain. I tied my shirt around my leg so I could continue. And then my biological father ended up telling me, he was like, just come sit down. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm hurting. And I sat down, and he was like, he was in the car, and he was like, we really need to get Joshua healthy. Blah, 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 blah. Don't tell your mom, because you know how your mom gets about this type of thing, injuries and stuff. And I was thinking about it just deeply, and I was thinking about, the basketball, and I was like, there's something, it's not really connected with me the way I thought it would. It's fun when you're playing in the neighborhood, but once you start taking it to the level where you want to, like learn and do something perhaps professionally or be on a team or something, I didn't have it there. Not that I didn't have the ability to learn it, but I didn't want to. That's what I really recognized, that I didn't want to do it. So I was just like, man. And at this point in my life, I never held anything back, from my mom. Not stuff like that. So I told her, I was like, yeah, my knee was killing me, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, Joshua, you don't even have to do basketball. If you want to do something else, we got money for you and for John. We can give John basketball. You can do ballet. And I was like, what? And that is where it really started. That's where it started. I was like, oh, okay, I want to do ballet. And my sister gave me the whole talk. She was like, whatever you put your eyes on, that's what you're going to want to do a whole lot. So just pay attention to what you're looking at all the time. And I wish I would have paid more attention to what she was saying then, because I ended up doing basketball a little bit, playing it more than I should have afterward, and not focusing on my ballet as much as I should have. And a bunch of little things like that just stopped my progress, and also made my knees hurt more. And a little bit more about that. So I had really bad tendonitis in my knees. My hip alignment was so badly off that my knees were taking too much of a load where they shouldn't have been. And I was a pretty strong jumper before I had done the basketball a lot, but when you don't have good shoes and you don't have good alignment specifically in your body, the wrong parts of your body take the load. So my ankles weren't hurting, but they were the main root of my problem, actually. And I was jumping a whole lot. My knees were hurting. I was trying to get to dunk. I was from the ages of 14 to 16, I was really jumping a lot. When I was 15, I could dunk on a 9'6" goal with both hands. Like I had mad hops. This is what a lot of the kids would say. Now I had mad hops, but my knees were hurting. They call it jumper's knee, but I don't receive that for myself. So then I discovered PJF Fitness on my YouTube, and I started trying to do a whole lot for fixing my knees with him and things like that. And a lot of it was good, but a lot of it just wasn't quite working the way it was supposed to be. And I, continued with a whole bunch of other people from there, trying to find out what to do exactly for my knees. And don't get me wrong, PJF Fitness is not bad when it comes to knees at all. He just wasn't helping me with my root problem. And I continued that for a little bit. Didn't really work the way I wanted it to. It lessened pain a little bit, but just not enough. If ever I would stop for a little bit and then come back, it would just hurt so much worse. And I'd be like, oh my goodness, this is not working for me. So then we changed places a little bit. We moved to a hotel and we moved into a house. But during the time I was in the hotel a lot, I did a whole lot of dance there. And, I was kind of in that mode where, because I don't know if it's because I'm young or, whatnot, but it wasn't like my body was just stopped killing me as much. Maybe because I stopped playing as much basketball, so it wasn't hurting as badly. And I was like, oh, okay, it would still hurt here and there. And I'd be like, but it stopped hurting, for a while. And until we moved again into this new house that we have now, this beautiful room you see me in is this new house that we have now. It's amazing. And in this house, my knees were kind of hurting again from after the move. I wasn't really doing as much activities, and one day I thought that my knees were okay, because they weren't really hurting that much. And I went outside to try to dunk on our neighbor's goal that they said that we could use it at any time. And when I got back inside, my knees, both of them, were throbbing. I'm talking throbbing all the way, the whole thing burning, feel like a knife was stabbing, and they were terrible. And I was just telling my mom, I was like, man, I just really don't know what's wrong with my body. I'm hurting. Every time I think I'm good, I try to do something a little bit more, and they just start hurting again. I stopped being able to run sprints, a whole bunch of things. And then, she just kind of sat there and looked for a moment, and I was just like, man, I just really need to see a physical therapist, And she was like, yeah, we're going to get you one or something. And then she just stopped, for looking around for a few moments, and then was like, Joshua, God just showed me that the reason your knees hurt is because of your ankles. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what it is, but it's because of your ankles. Yeah, God just showed it to me. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, it's because of your ankles. I was like, yeah, probably. Because I knew I had a bad instep and I had some ankle and foot pain as well. But I didn't really, know that those two things were connected in the way that I know them now. So I started looking into ankle stuff. I started looking into ankle health for myself and started finding a whole bunch of things that were beneficial. And the more and more I did them, the less and less they hurt. So I basically took the last year off of ballet completely. I think I took 24 classes online altogether. Well, on YouTube altogether. And that's not very much considering there are 52 weeks in a year. So I only took like 24 because I was, trying to keep my body, kind of used to it. But I was really, more than anything, working and focusing on my ankles. And boy, I'm telling you, the knee pain has gone down so much that I don't know how to express the gratitude I have for my mother and for my older sister for helping me with different things, and for God for helping me get to that place in the first place, because my knees not killing me every day is just an amazing feeling. It's a sigh of relief. So this year's the beginning of me starting back ballet for real. And I've been noticing a little bit. I'm like, okay, I've had a little knee pain here, a little knee pain there. So it's not very much, but it's some there. So I was like, okay, trying to figure out what to do with it. And now I just found a few other people and floor bar classes specifically. This is definitely not what I'm doing here. This is just my warm up, before my bar, which I do not always do, which is very silly of me, I will say. And I've found a few things that I know I'm going to be okay with in the future. And I just like you all to join me in this process of seeing me just get better, because it's only up from here. A lot of people have these, mind-boggling injuries that, in the middle of their ballet career, and then like, I came back stronger because I did this, that, and the other. Well, for me, it's not like that. It's like, I've been injured for a lot of my life, and I'm not only pulling myself out of it, I'm pulling myself into something else. And the journey of getting there is what is so beautiful when you think about it, and all the things that you learn. Now you know how to help other people when you go through the things like this. And I'm just telling you that there is nothing quite like understanding what it is that's with your body so that you can fix it. So now I am here, and I have been paying attention to my body. Really, I'm trying to get my glutes strong now, and I'm engaging the parts that need to be properly engaged. And I'm pretty sure there's so much more that I have to learn. And the next few videos, I'm pretty sure you'll even see progress in those. But the key to it all is consistency. And that's one of the reasons why I have this channel, because it's something that forces me to be consistent with my mind and my body. And I just want to thank you all for joining, whoever joins. And thank you for watching.